Is the International Day of Zero Tolerance to Female Genital Mutilation or Female Circumcision. It's said to have affected up to 140 million women across the world. And the World Health Organization says a further 3 million girls continue to be at risk each year, calling it a harmful practice. Well, today we have a report from Kenya where it is illegal, but in practice remains key to the culture of many communities. France 24's Duncan Woodside spoken to some of the women resisting the cutting ceremonies.
These two girls are runaways. They left home to escape female genital mutilation. Felicia, who's 20, lodges with 18-year-old Susan, who ran away just a few weeks ago. They eke out a living selling fruit to travellers.
I couldn't have stayed at home because if I had, my parents would have pestered me as to why I refused to undergo the cut. Sometimes they try to scare you by saying there are people who'll come at night and wake you up, and they'll take you for the cut.
I was told to go to the cut, but I refused. Also, when you go to the cut, you will be forced to be married by an old man.
Practicing FGM carries a custodial sentence, but people are rarely punished since the offence takes place under the radar, often in secret ceremonies, and local authorities lack the resources to prosecute.
We only have 5 officers, administration police officers, serving 3 locations. And to take these officers to the field is very taxing because they don't have a vehicle. And the chief doesn't have a vehicle. So it is very difficult to ferry them and even to ferry the culprits.
The cutting process is carried out by women. Margaret says she's mutilated hundreds of girls. The ritual is carried out with a razor blade.
When the girls are to be cut, we get stones. Everyone has a stone to sit on, like these ones here. When you cut them, they sit still, like the stone they're sitting on. No flesh remains behind after the cut. What remains is just the base.
Margaret's now an anti-FGM ambassador, thanks to a sensitisation programme run by Kenya's National Council of Churches. But she used to earn up to €250 a day, making cutting a lucrative business.
If you tell someone to quit this work, they'll say, "Are you really telling us to leave this business that's helping us earn a living and enabling us to send our children to school?"
Many men within cattle herding communities here in Kenya view FGM and male circumcision as a cultural necessity. Cutting ceremonies typically also involve instructing girls how to become housewives, often over a period of several weeks.
If a girl is circumcised, while she's in seclusion for that process, she's going to be well trained to serve the family and become an adult. So when a woman refuses circumcision, it makes me feel uncomfortable.
The culture of providing a dowry, mainly in the form of cattle, results in additional pressure for girls to undergo FGM. Marrying off daughters brings wealth for families, and would-be husbands often refuse to wed someone who's not been cut.
Because you are fighting for a woman. You love a woman, really. But the problem is that she has not undergone. So it will be a fight between me and her that, please, I want you to undergo this particular process for you to be qualified, for you to be a true woman.
The patriarchal nature of society, the economics of the dowry system, and weak law enforcement all indicate that FGM will persist in many of Kenya's communities for years to come. Thousands more girls are therefore likely to run away from home, leaving them exposed to poverty and exploitation.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined now by Dr. Morasanda Kuyate, Executive Director of Inter-African Committee, which deals with traditional practices affecting women and children. Thank you very much for joining me here.
Thank you.
Now, as we saw in that report, it's women around the world that did focus there in Kenya. But tell us, who is most at risk for this practice?
Yeah, before First of all, I would like to thank France 24 because we were accompanied by the media during our fight against female genital mutilation. I would like just to say that the term of circumcision is not relevant. It's a female genital mutilation because it's not circumcision. Circumcision is cutting the skin, but cutting the clitoris is more than that. So we have to say female genital mutilation. Inter-African Committee was created by Africans themselves and supported by the international community in 1984 in Dakar. Now we are 29 countries around Africa and 17 affiliates around the world. So what we are trying to do is to bring the attention and to mobilize the political leaders, religious leaders, women, men, young people, and all the sections of the community to come together and to say no to the female genital mutilation. It's not easy, but after 30 years, now we have some results. First, yeah.
No, I was going to ask you then about these results. What are the results that you're seeing after 3 decades in the field trying to fight against this?
The first result is we have broken the taboo around this term. Because before, I think 30 years ago, we were not able even to talk openly about this. So in 2012, we got a resolution from the UN General Assembly. So you can see the difference between talking at village level and talking now at world level. So this is one thing. The second thing, today, we are saying that the trend is decreasing everywhere. It's not very fast, but everywhere the practice is done, is decreasing right now. The third one is we have the involvement of young people, because this fight will be won by the young people. So everywhere you go today in Africa, you can see through our organization, the Inter-African Committee, you can see the organization led by the young people saying no to the FGM. We are trying to do that through the school and through also the organization, young people organization. Especially we have something which is very, very important at African level. We tried to push, to mobilize, to sensitize, to advocate towards the heads of states in Africa and African Union. So for that, we are very, very happy to see that the heads of state in Africa are very committed, and now we have the law in 19 countries in Africa.
Where then are you seeing the most resistance to stopping FGM?
I think that it's at the religious leaders. Why? Because people are just linking the FGM to the religion, but it's not true. There is no any single relationship between both. But some of the marabout are trying to say this is a prescription coming from the Quran or coming from the Bible. It's not true. So they are trying always to say no. When we say it's not in the Quran, you go to the Quran, it's not there. And they say, no, it's in the Hadith or something like that. But it's not true. So the most resistance is from the religious leaders. But there is a good news. We have created 10 years ago a network of religious leaders at African level who are working closely with Inter-African Committee now.
So clearly you seem to be saying that education and awareness is one of the best tools to stopping female genital mutilation. Then what other strategies or initiatives are you trying to bring about in order to stop it?
One of our strategies, we have 5 strategies. The first one is advocacy toward the leaders. The second one is the advocacy and sensitization. The second strategy, one of the most important, is the law. We asked all countries to have their own law against female genital mutilation, because without law, you can't continue to sensitize people at infinity. So at some point, you have to protect the girls. What kind of instrument do you have to protect the girl? It's only the law. So the second one is the law, which is very important for us at national and regional and international level. The third one, very, very important also, is taking care of the victims, because we are talking about prevention, but some of the victims are suffering, but they can't say that openly. So we are trying to help them, to bring them through the healthcare and give them some supports.
Okay, Dr. Morisanda Kuyate from the Inter-African Committee, thank you very much for coming in today on this day to bring awareness to this cause, to stop it. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Well, live from Paris, it continues after the break, and we'll have Catherine Nicholson in the program. She's going to talk carpets, rugs, and tapestries, which are looming at a new exhibition here in Paris, to all things woven. Cat Nicholson will have that. We'll have that, of course, and more on the day's top headlines. Do stay with us.